Don't you want your button eyes? I hope you enjoyed that little intro. It's only about 30 seconds, so if you want to go back, you can go and watch that. But we're going to do some makeup to turn ourselves into Coraline, and you probably have most, if not everything at home to go and do this. There's nothing special that you need, just a bit of makeup. For the foundation, I ended up using some Mehron brand makeup. This stuff is an oil-based makeup. It's very easy to blend, but you can use literally any foundation that you have to go and put the base down. Just do not set the base. It's a lot easier to blend things, and we're only going very light with a lot of the makeup that's going to go over it. So after you have your foundation on, and I used a brush to very lightly brush mine on, then we're going to be using a off-red, almost pink color. Use your hand to get off some of the additional cosmetic, and we're going to put that over our top lids, along with also put some onto the lower section of our lid too. This is going to give a warm look to the eye area, and I find that when you're doing cosplay or you're doing costume makeup like that, it helps to soften a lot of the features. At the sides, I used more of this red too, and that helped to just sculpt my nose out a bit more, along with also add some warmth back to my nose area. And you can see I used my fingers to blend it out slightly. And if I ended up setting the foundation below, it would make it a lot harder to blend things with my fingers. For the nose, you'll see kind of what I did here. At the sides, I put lines. I also made a circle towards the tip, and then I put a triangle right between where my nostrils are. This helped to make my nose look a bit smaller, along with also just kind of tied everything into this look. Then for my cheeks, I went under in a semi-circular fashion, blended everything out. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make my face look a little bit more childish, so that means accentuating some of the different areas that would have typically more fat in the face area, so the chin, the cheeks, and a couple of those areas like that. Then I'm blending that out, which you can see here. And now I'm moving over to the eyebrows. Now the eyebrows are pretty easy to do. What I'm doing is I'm extending the lines of my eyebrow only so slightly, and I'm just using a bit of eyeshadow on an angled brush to do so. You could always go back over this with liquid eyeliner if you really wanted to fill it in even further. You could always draw on some brows or use a special tool that has a smaller tip to it where you can just draw on the entire brow. I was only going for just trying to fill in a small amount, and also at my sides of the mouth, I use that same brush to make a small little line at the edges extending my mouth, making it kind of look like I'm smiling slightly. For my lips, I put some red lip gloss on, very, very, very light covering of it. I also did go over to the sides just slightly, and I extended the top and the bottom of my lip line to make it look more like I was smiling. Then I went in with more of that lip gloss, and you can see here, it looks like I'm smiling and it looks like I'm happy at the edges of my mouth. Now, for the eyes, I didn't fully and totally wing my eyes all the way to the edge. I only put some eyeliner towards where the center to side of my eyelid is. And at the bottom, I used an eye pencil to add just a very small amount of shadow because I didn't want to fully and totally overdo it. Then, right where the hairs are, I put a line of white eyeliner on. I did use this brush to do so. It was so much easier. And I also gave myself some freckles. You cannot forget the freckles for this look. It ties everything together, and it also makes it look, of course, a little cuter. I extended these all the way over my nose, onto the other side of my cheek, and before some of this pigment dried, I used my finger to subdue it slightly. You can also see that it helped to make some different sized freckles on both sides of my cheeks. The makeup that I used for this was just water-activated cosmetic, also from Mehron from the Paradise palette. It is easy to transfer before it dries. Then you can set everything in place at a later date. Now for my eyes, just a bit of mascara to extend my eyelashes slightly. And we're pretty much almost done with this look at this point. If you wanted to highlight certain features, you could also use highlighter, of course, so like on your nose, on your forehead, different places like that. Then it was time to put on the wig, so I put on one of these netted caps, put the styled wig on, and after my wig was in place, finished up the makeup look, decided that it needed just a little bit of blush, which I put slightly under where I typically would put blush. I put it slightly under my cheekbone, right where I had made that semicircle. Highlighted on my nose as well too, which was something I was saying about before. If you wanted to add some highlights, normally the nose, upper portion of the cheeks, maybe the chin, and also the forehead is where you typically want to add some of that highlight. Then, after everything was done, I put on a rain jacket and this makeup look was done. Thank you all so much for watching. There are more tutorials that are over in my profile, and happy almost Halloween!